and stuff. Like, it's a perfectly decent segment. I liked how he referenced over Dusty Rhodes, over to how he got his start over in WCW and stuff like that. It's nice that it enter, of course, with Cody coming in, like, what, you have my father's name in your mouth, or something like that. Nothing else transitioned after that, folks. A really uneventful segment. All we had was Team Taz coming in as soon as they were launching up, and Ricky Starks with another average promo, pretty good promo off Ricky Starks. It came up with the lights going dark. Oh, is Sting finally gonna fight? No, he's still suffering over an injury when I hide over the fact that this old lump of bones is only there to pop over our ratings. And it ended with a freaking Darby Allin flashing out of nowhere, so somehow he got Sting's like blackout maneuver. Even though he was like the punk rock teenager of Sting, like the son of him. Freaking coming around with his skateboard, and it's like, oh, it's still a 6-against-2 situation. They just walk out just to feel like Sting's like the man that took over the NWO. The guy's like in his 60s with a bad back. Like, guys, take advantage. Brian Cage is the only one set up to fight. And it's issued off that come New Year's Dash, I think the next pay-per-view's called. I mean, the next super event for Dynamite called, because they can't do monthly pay-per-views, because, of course, Cody will know that he will never have consistent buys for pay-per-views. That's not rude. That just makes sense, because they don't have enough star power yet. They still keep the Dark Order in the roster. They still keep the Dark Order in the roster. Nyla Rose, Abaddon, Brandon Cutler, Christopher Daniels, and Kazarian, like, guys like shouldn't stay over with a contract at all. That's just my opinion. So after all of that, we had a heartfelt segment involving Proud and Powerful. Then, because I already went over that, we're going to go over the Dark Order with Colt Cabana and Mr. 10 going one-on-one with Jurassic Express in a 6-man tag. And it's like, oh my god, I haven't seen these guys in a few months. Thank God. And I want to like be more optimistic, because I want to try to see if I can actually give these guys a chance. But by God, what's the appeal of these dudes other than Marco Stunt's a child? He's a freaking child. They do weird-ass Canadian destroyers, counters into slingshots, and like just the average hot tag with Luchasaurus. That's always well overdone. That he just chops, big boot, kick, and then no near fall. They don't even use him as the exempt finish of the match. Why aren't they using him for finishes? You have just Marco Stunt going for running topes off the bottom rope. Enziguri's always assistance off power moves. Jungle Boy's just there to do his topes. The match ends with Jurassic Express picking up the win. It just feels like Colt Cabana is just there and it's supposed to be this comedic, clever wrestler. I don't see any personality over Colt Cabana. This Jewish fat fart that's only referenced because CM Punk put his name in his mouth back in 2011. That's the only reason why these indie fans even know who Colt Cabana is. I swear. So Jurassic Express pick up the pinfall from a suplex drop power bomb. It was an average finish, but wait, is this a legit finisher? Like their Dynamite doesn't move that any indie wrestler can do. They don't even have a defined finisher. Oh boy. If some suplex reversal into a power bomb by Jungle Boy, you don't want to suspect Jungle Boy to, execute the power bomb of a finisher. Oh boy. Next up, folks, we are going to continue off until we're done. We had Kenny Omega that hasn't been issued into a match in a while, facing off a bit of a talk with Don Callis over his match against Rey Fenix for the AEW World Title next week on Dynamite. And it's like he references AAA Impact because it looks like they're doing a crossover plan with most of these feds, so they can leech over AEW's somewhat anonymous success. And it just feels so depressing going over what I'm seeing over most of this show, over Kenny just leeching over the fact that he worked for so many indie promotions, over most of his undefining characters. Like, oh, you wouldn't mind getting back on Impact. It's like, he would be injury prone. Bring him over to K-Dog. You can just bring him over to AAA. Like, your ass could have stayed on AAA. You're more over there than you are literally on your own fed that you made with your own friends. Kenny Omega is just, oh god, he's just the weakest world heel champion. And out of like stuff like this that been done before but better, when like Ric Flair took the NWA Heavyweight Championship with himself over a firing that happened over some financial disputes he had, and he was still more over because people knew who the hell Ric Flair is, and him coming to WWF was a big thing to happen, especially when he showed up for the Royal Rumble and won the WWF Championship. Stuff like that's big. Like, you freaking, if I was like CZW World Champion and I come out in the Ultimate X Cup, nobody's going to know who the hell I am except like a couple fat dudes with a neck beard and obviously one friend that they know has been rejected before coming around. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! This is so great. And know that I leave in like a couple months. And they keep bringing up the factor that he choked at AAA, like that matters. Like he choked on when they were tag team champions, and he choked in the tournament, even though he was forced to not compete because Eddie wanted to face off against him. Okay, so that's practically the promo. I hate Kenny Omega. He just doesn't see. Like, people try to praise the factor that the cleaner gimmick is like, the cleaner gimmick is not even technically a gimmick. The cleaner is just a personified nickname. Like Triple H, Cerebral Assassin, he actually behaves like a guy that, always works behind the scenes. He always has guys doing his dirty work. He always acts like a mastermind. The guy planned for a run over of Stone Cold Steve Austin, got in the pants of the boss's daughter so we can get big authority push over the company. Literally beats most of the top guys over the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression. Why do you think he has that reputation? What the fuck is the cleaner? And didn't he get that name because he was in the midget division of a freaking New Japan? Like, they call it the junior heavyweight division. Like, stop this. Ridiculous. Come on. I didn't care if Moxley was even staying world champion. At least he made the title look a bit legit, and his matches were pretty okay. So next up, after that, we had Pac versus the Butcher, 1-on-1. The match was over this ongoing storyline in going over, the betrayal. The heat with Pac and the Butcher. Sorry that I'm mumbling over most of this. I don't like doing reviews at 12 o'clock and freaking, oh god, it's now Thursday. So this is what the match is going on to. Mainly pushes over to the corner, limiting his moveset off, pinning him down over the corner, stomping over his shoulder. So average selling, decent psychology, a running powerbomb over for a near fall. Everybody's been feeding over the back. And as soon as Eddie Kingston was keep pleading for Butcher to finish it over with a move, Lance Archer comes when Eddie Kingston was getting a bit too close around the ring. And it took the Black Arrow to get the clean finish. Average match. Decent psychology. It just felt so bland of a move. Like, if you wanted to just make it a street fight and try to get everybody to do something. I feel like Jade Cargill, sorry to transition like that, but there's also, like, Jade Cargill, like, the person who knows Shaq. Obviously not his side piece. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna put that down. I'm gonna lay it down and just type that. Obviously not a side piece. Other than that, she ends up with saying that motherhood is wonderful, saying that she's totally also a mom herself, and but it's really convenient while she has to mess with her, she gets a child. Obviously, taking that as a sake of ducking, and then she says shit because you can't think that you're TV-14 because you say shit other than actually making adult storylines. You're not cutting edge AEW. So that's practically it. Tony Schiavone then issues an interview with, of course, Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. Like, they're finally going on still with this marriage BS. And after doing the celebratory little be happy thing, planned for the little wedding, comes around. They come around with a back shot with what looks to be the best friends making their appearance. They fake it, and then Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor are helping Trent get into the ambulance truck, so it looks like they're gone because they assaulted him backstage or something. Later, and then they come on saying that it's going to be some kind of beach wedding, exotic beach wedding over the winter. Yay. I don't care over the semblance of drama because of how bad they've taken to build this, how much they've had lack of build over for the character of Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, and how illegitimate frickin' Miro looks. It's just this weirdo buff gamer with no semblance of a charismatic take, weak ass feuds over barely taking care of Chuck Taylor, Trent, and just over like strugglingly getting these petty little back and forth brawls backstage. Somehow they just assault one of them. It just feels so corny, and I don't really care about this wedding thing because of lack of build over all of this. Imagine how why aren't they like continuing this like thing with Joey Jolena? Like, wasn't like both of his girls taken away? Like one from MJF, I think that was kayfabe wise, but other than that, this is for real that Kip Sabian literally took his girl Penelope Ford, and now Joey Janela is fat with a weird gay tag team partner. So that will become February 3rd, called Beach Break. I don't think it's called a pay-per-view. It's another, like, probably multi-day special for AEW Dynamite. Next up, we'll have Dustin Rhodes face off against Evil Uno one-on-one. And as soon as he opened off the ring, Evil Uno came with a slap. Big counters, twisting and working on the hand, trying to limit power moves, a senton off Evil Uno. The match was looking average. I think he was trying to go for the Shattered Dreams, but that got, of course, falsely acclaimed. Really decent match over with Dustin, and they bring over I think it was his finisher. They reference over 7, his crap gimmick that he had back in WCW. It's decent for that to be called over. It was off the Rolling Bulldog that Dustin picked the victory. Was the match fine? I thought it was average. After it looked like Stu Grayson was coming out to help out with Evil Uno. Evil Uno tried to hold some of the Dark Order. And it's like, wait, so what happened to Brody Lee? Probably COVID or something. I don't know what happened. What happened to Brody Lee? He's supposed to be taking most of the command or taking more of the chances to actually get group members. Wouldn't they be primarily focusing on Hangman Adam Page because he would be the most resilient? I mean, he isn't with any friends anymore. Shouldn't they be trying to focus on him? And this is right after they just lost a 6-man tag against Private Party and Matt Hardy. Oh, it's so goddamn bad, man. Bring some continuity into most of your storylines. Like, why are you trying to force over 2 members with no rhyme or reason except a bit over Hangman's case? Next up, when Hikaru Shida was getting stupidly interviewed, Abaddon came out of nowhere with a backstage assault where she was getting jogged off. Then she faced off against Alex Garcia. Oh, God. Okay, let's go over this damn match so I can just go to bed already, dude. They care. I If I care about an AEW women's match, that means I have to admit on camera that I love my siblings. I will never love an AEW women's match. That's terrible of me, but you would understand the gist of the situation. That watching most of these AEW women's matches come into false finish, drag out over a random jobber. Like, where's Red Velvet? Why aren't you wrestling Penelope Ford? Why isn't like Britt Baker issuing over her shot from like most of the year when she is like feuding with jobbers like Big Swole? And now she's having this little blood feud with Thunder Rosa that they didn't even focus on. I don't care about this fat weirdo zombie chick indie fat loser that probably was a jobber on Impact Wrestling named Abaddon. I don't even care if that means something backwards or some pig Latin satanic bullcrap. It's just so bad. It ends up with Hikaru Shida picking up the victory. I'm not even gonna force myself to care. It was off a reverse Falcon, a counter off a Falcon Arrow, off Garcia doing her kind of runs in some crap. It ends off a Falcon Arrow. How depressing is that? Not even her premier finishing move. It's called the Damashi. It's a Shining Wizard. Oh, God. So that's the match. After that, they came up with her getting knocked over with a kendo stick. Then Abaddon would rip off literally Shayna Baszler, where Shayna Baszler literally bit the back of the neck of Becky Lynch. Abaddon just took technically took a chunk of the neck of Hikaru Shida. Like, I didn't literally see that nearly 10 months ago. So, that's practically it. Next up, before we had that, like a couple moments earlier, we had a freaking Buck Hutton season little diss track thing. Anthony Bowens and Max Caster seem like decent athletic individuals, and maybe like put them in a feud with like SCU, try to establish them, make them a bit entertaining enough. Even though some of this is supposed to be a consistent ranking system, even though it's not that accurately implemented, and I understand they disrespected them, but it just makes so little sense, especially how established they are to be in that level. And like, sure, there's BS and power scaling, but especially when you have a ranking system, I expect a bit more consistencies on who you think are going to last long in the match or who you think is going to have a hard time wrestling these teams. Especially when it comes to, you're probably going to have like a 20-minute match with the Acclaimed to probably, if you face like the Butcher and Blade or another established team that doesn't win that much in like a 15-minute match. Makes zero sense to me. The match went up to like until over 12 o'clock. So they really were trying to push over the Acclaimed. Counter is over with super kick, big counter off the dumb hot tag where one of the Young Bucks always do 1, 2, 1, 2, punch. Always got a no sell, fall over, fake, pretend that they're stunned off of multiple rapid, weak punches that they're getting instead of trying to counter with 2-on-1 decisions. Then we had a dumb double DDT. The match ends so weak with some kind of run over doomsday device. Then a boombox finish with an extra ref coming in. Then it ends with a BTE trigger for the finish. That's practically it, folks. That's my review. Thank God I'm done. It's just that agonizing to do a review of Dynamite. If you guys had enough of watching this episode of Dynamite, please tell me down in the comment section below. I wouldn't mind. If you had enough to at least stay to watch the stream, I'm really grateful that you took the time out of your day to watch and help me grow over my content. Other than that, that's all I got to say about that. I'm going to try to rewatch some of the NBA games that I missed because I wasted time watching AEW. Other than what we got, that's it for me. Watching a wrestling show at 10 o'clock isn't the best, especially when it's going to end near midnight. So that's all I got to say. I'm going to make this a short and sweet review. Other than that, that's it. Leave. Go home. Goodbye.